reasonable doubt. You weren't around me 24/7. So you can't tell me for a certain fact that the dog didn't eat my homework. Okay? Kids are smart, I'm trying to tell you. So that's what they're hinging on. But we know better because we're adults and we're smarter. Okay? So we say, you a lie. I know you a lie. Now, it doesn't matter that I can't prove you're a lie. I know by common sense that you're lying to me right now. And the same thing when it happens, systemic racism, because they're hinging on the fact that you can't disprove that this ghost is not there. If they believe it, I had a coworker, and this guy, we worked at, I used to do private security, personal security, and we worked at this particular house, and the next door house that we had, that was next door to ours, was also a part of the family I worked with, okay? So the detail leader, my leader would constantly go over to the house. Oh, it's so haunted. Oh, the house is so haunted. This is haunted. You don't want to go there. It's haunted. Okay, it's haunted. Every time I go over there, there's a ghost. I see a ghost. And he kept it year after year. He would say this. Finally, a coworker of mine went over to that house. Didn't experience not one ghost. He comes back, he said, there's no ghost there. Well, it was when I was there. Again, that's what they're doing with systemic racism. I can see it, but you can't. It's there, you just can't see it. We have to debunk that outright and let them know how silly that sounds. You have no evidence. You have no evidentiary fact, no evidentiary basis for systemic racism, and you're using conjecture to try, and you want us to go along with it. And a lot of times we do. Why do we go along with ghost stories? Why? We have to debunk it outright. So there's the first talking point, and that it's there, but you just can't see it. And there's my favorite. Number 2. Systemic racism is meant to benefit white people. And this is why I love to get them. So, I feed into it. Boy, I feed into it. Systemic racism only benefits white people. Oh man, you don't understand, man. Yeah, it's unfortunate because, the hegemonic structures of power, the white people at the top, and all this and that. Oh, really? White people at the top? Yeah. And they created it. They created the game, so since they created everything and the United States of America and all that type of stuff, they make the rules. And they make the rules so only they succeed. Only they succeed? What? Yeah, only they succeed. White people. So you're saying that they, through systemic racism, they're the only ones who benefit? I try to trap them. I always want to trap them. I want to make sure that they dig their feet into the premise. So you're saying systemic racism benefits white people only? Yeah, man, you don't understand. Yeah, it benefits white people, man. It's not fair. I can't get a leg up. I can't succeed. You can't succeed. So it only benefits white people, right? Yeah, man, you don't understand. Yeah, you know how it goes. Good. Now that their feet are glued to this position, that systemic racism only benefits whites, right? It's their game. It's all white people's game. So it'll be like if I created a game, right? I created a game, me against y'all. But I get to make the rules, okay? I get to make the rules and I get to change them at will, okay? I should be winning every single time. Doesn't matter how many more of you than me. I make the rules and I can change them, okay? So that's the whole of systemic racism, is that white people have to make the rules and no one else can win, okay? Again, let's talk about facts, stats, and data. So, what is how should I put it? What is the idea of secular success when it comes to the world? Money. Okay? Money is the side. indeed. Come on now. Oh, yes, indeed. Well, music to my ears, I see. But money. Money is the sign of success all over the world. Okay? So, those who have the most money, those who are benefiting the most when it comes to financials, they run the world, right? You've heard of the golden rule, right? Those who have the gold make the rules. Okay? That's the golden rule. Learned you something right now. So, let's talk about median income. Okay? Because when it comes to systemic racism, okay, white people should be on top. Okay, so let me ask you a question. 4 groups: black, white, Asian, and Hispanic. Let's talk about who's on top. Is give the plot away? Okay, let's do median income. Okay? Is it black people that are on top when it comes to median income? Racist! You're right. Black people are not on top. Hispanic? No? White people? Wait. You created the game. Wait, what? Not white people?
No, we're not play it.
Boom! Asians. Yes, indeed. Asians are on top when it comes to median income, and they make roughly $97,000. Okay? Number 2. Who do you think number 2 is? Huh?
Whites.
White people. There we go. 2. Okay. Now, where do you think white people are at? Huh? 75? Ooh, wait.
I don't think so.
Someone's been doing some research. 75 indeed. So smart. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Number 3. Who? Oh, y'all are so kind. Nope. Hispanic. Oh, my. Any guesses? Close? Higher.
If it's not 50, they're robbing me.
Looks like you're being robbed. No, it's higher than that, actually.
58.
Lower than 60, higher than 50. Lower than 58.
57.
Higher than 52. 55. There we go. There we go. We're making magic now. Oh, wait. And unfortunately. Okay. Now, any guesses?
50.
30, 40.
Higher than 40, less than 50.
45.
45, yes indeed. Actually, we're gonna round up, so it's gonna be 46. Okay? 46. Okay. Now, I could just leave it at here. This right here, in and of itself, this proves systemic racism. Because that means, what? Does Asian community have the cheat codes? Is that what's happening right here? Or are we talking about culture? Culture, work ethic is a part of their culture. Okay? So we're not talking about systemic racism, we're talking about culture. Okay? Now, I am a big fan of beating dead horses. So, let's beat dead horses, shall we? Okay. Now, now we know through secular ideas that when it comes to success, we're talking financials. Okay? Now, what enables you to achieve success? What makes it a higher possibility for you to achieve this success?
Stable family.
You're on the money now. Come on, give me a little some. Okay, let me put it like this: Barack Obama during Father's Day said this. Said what? Ooh, you need a father. You know my speech. You can't answer. She's cheating already, boy. I tell you. Father in the home. So the more stable the home, as you were saying, the more stable the home, the higher the likelihood of the child growing up successful and becoming a productive member of society and a successful member of society. So let's go to two-parent homes. All right. Who do you think has the highest two-parent homes? Highest percentage? What? Hispanic? Asians. So we're gonna do two-parent homes, okay? And number one, Asians. What do you think the percentage of two-parent homes are?
97%.
Oh, well, no, that's actually lower than 90.
87.
80, what? 87, there we go, 87. 87%. 87% of Asian homes are two-parent homes. That's phenomenal. Okay? Who's number two? Huh? Hispanics?
Hispanics.
No. White. Hmm? And where are we at with white?
85.
24.
65.
How many? No, higher.
60. 65.
No, higher.
83. 75.
That's your 75? Yes, indeed, 75. There we go. We are cooking with grease.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
indeed.
Another butter.
Who's number three? Oh, we're starting to see a pattern here, are we not? There we go. Mm-hmm. And we're 70. Okay. No, we are lower than that.
65.
Higher than 60.
66.
Lower than 66.
63.
Lower than 63. 62. There we go. And unfortunately, oh man. Be generous.
40.
41 and a half.
Lower than 45.
20.
38.
20%.
That's that your
16.
10.
37, 38.
38.
38. We're gonna round up.
I just never see a couple of those. Wow, that's so low.
So now didn't happen. Wipe that from your brains. Are we seeing a bit of a correlation here? Hmm? Are we seeing a correlation?
Oh, yeah. That would have been funny.
Now, I'm not saying correlation equals causation. I'm not saying that that's exactly what happens in this situation, but we can definitely surmise that, there are some similarities here across the board, okay? But again, do we not see Asians atop the list? How do they keep beating white people at their own game? Huh? If it's a systemic racism, the Asian community should be second at most. But when it comes to two-parent homes, Asians are beating white people. When it comes to median income, Asians are beating white people. when it comes to systemic racism is supposed to only benefit whites. Okay? So, again, I like beating dead horses. Okay. So, there's an article from Harvard. Okay? And the article is entitled The Other Achievement Gap. Lessons we can learn from Asian American success. Okay? Now it reads, on average, Asian American students obtain higher grades, perform better on standardized tests, and are more likely to finish high school and attend elite colleges than their peers of all other racial backgrounds, regardless of socioeconomic status. Now, I ran out of room, but that just goes to show Asians are on top of education as well. They're first place. Now let's look at what they said, regardless of socioeconomic status. Let's look up socioeconomic status and let's just talk about that. It's a little convoluted, but I'm gonna break it down. Socioeconomic status is an economic and sociological combined total measure of a person's work experience and an individual's or family's economic access to resources and social position in relation to others. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. It says, of an individual or family's economic access to resources. Now, according to this article, they succeed regardless of their access to resources. Now, what do we hear about when it comes to the Black community? That we need more access to resources. Now, is it that we need more access to resources, or do we need to step our game up as the Asian community has themselves? They succeed regardless of the access to resources, regardless of how much money is pumped into the communities. No matter how many handouts and hand-ups, they don't need it. And they succeed regardless. So the Black community can no longer make the excuse that it's just, oh, we just need more access to resources. We need more resources to succeed. No, we do not. We need tenacity, grit. We need hard work. We need dedication and drive. We need discipline is what we need to succeed. Okay? Now, when I was in high school, my coach made a point for us to watch film, right? When I was playing basketball. I was on a basketball team. And he made it a point to watch film. And we always watched film of the first place team. Because we want to see what the first place team is doing, especially if we got to face them. We got to know what they're doing and maybe replicate some things if it works. So let's, as a Black person, analyze last place and first place. Okay? Now, there are three things that the Asian community utilizes, or three aspects that makes them successful. Okay? One is family. Two, they have a code of honor. Three, education. Okay? Now, we already talked about family, two-parent homes. We see what's going on here. Okay? But let's talk about a code of honor. The Asian community is big on the code of honor. They don't want to bring any dishonor to their family name or to their community. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case when it comes to the Black community. We do things that are not very becoming of a people. I remember watching the news after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and the ire from the left was palpable, right? And I remember seeing a bunch of Black women showing their angst and their disgust
by twerking. I remember during 2020, the BLM riots, black women got atop cop cars and twerked, cell phone in hand. There's this website, I don't know if you are privy to it, it's called World Star Hip Hop. Have any of you heard it? It was more so when I was growing up. They put, it was pretty much a compilation full of fights, especially when it comes to the black community, particularly when it comes to the black community. It was a bunch of people fighting, and it was twerking, all other type of ridiculousness, right? That's what the black community has. Unfortunately, there's no code of honor. We go out there in the streets of Chicago and we gun each other down. We have no regard for human life. Not all of us. And let me go and say this. The reason I go so hard when it comes to the black community is because you have to identify the problem before you can make any type of solutions or suggestions for solutions. Okay? We have to understand the problem. They always say that half the battle is understanding what the problem is. Okay? So we have to identify the problem so that we can help the black community understand that we need discipline. We need discipline. We don't need handouts. We don't need bail reform. We don't need jail reform. We need discipline. So, when it comes to a code of honor, Asian community has a high code of honor, the black community has a low code of honor. Now, when it comes to education, as we see, as we have said, and we talked about, they're number one. The Asian community is number one. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. When it comes to sports, right, do you see a lot of, in high school, right? I mean, y'all in high school? Yeah. Okay. Do you see a lot of Asians on the basketball team?
No.
Football? Medium?
No.
Baseball?